Hello everyone, welcome to this session here from WU Campus. Thanks for taking the time to spend your lunch break together with me and to get some insights about our Global Executive MBA. Now, some of you may have read already the brochures and had a look at the website and also compared Global Executive MBA programs across other business schools. What I'd like to do today is to summarize some key facts real quick on a couple of slides, information you would find relevant when choosing the right MBA program. And please feel free to type in your questions in the chat box while I'm showing my slides, because I'd be happy to come back to you after the presentation and answer the questions. So let us jump right into it. Now, when you look for an executive MBA program, in our opinion, there are a couple of factors to look at. These factors are, first of all, the quality of the program, then some hard facts, meaning the structure, the timing, the faculty, and some other factors. And then obviously also look at the class profile. So who will be sitting next to you in the classroom, and how will you be able to learn from these people? And I'll just elaborate on a couple of slides, these factors. Now, when it comes to quality of the institution or the MBA program, there are some options to look at. First of all, accreditations. Accreditations are independent institutions, accreditation bodies, and they accredit selected business schools. If you look at a worldwide range of some 10 to 15,000 MBA programs, accreditations are quite a good tool to funnel down your selection of MBA programs to programs which have accreditations. To name the three most important, the ACSB accreditation of business schools, that's a US accreditation institution. Then you have EQUIS, which is the European quality assurance system, ranking mostly business schools in Europe. And then you have AMBA, which is the Association of MBA Programs, accrediting especially MBA programs. Now, WU Vienna, or the WU Executive Academy, is proud to have the so-called triple accreditation consisting of all three accreditation bodies. Now, why is that important? When you think about those 10, 15,000 MBA programs worldwide, less than 100 MBA programs or business schools have all three accreditations. To my knowledge, currently it's 86 universities worldwide. So this really puts your selection into a very exquisite company of business schools. So that's a great indicator to look for quality of MBA programs. Second, the rankings. Most prominent and one of the most important rankings is the Financial Times Executive MBA ranking for our global MBA programs. Currently, we rank 48 worldwide. That's a top 100 selection of business schools or executive MBA programs. We hold, as I said, number 48 currently worldwide. And if you look at some of the subcategories of the ranking, there's two of them which I would like to highlight, namely the working experience of the students, where we rank in the top 10, namely number 9. So why is this important? And I'll show that a couple of slides later. That describes pretty nicely the quality or the seniority of your peers, your fellow students during the executive MBA. So this really means that you will be within a peer group of great and experienced managers. Then the international course experience, which I would like to mention or to highlight, number 13. This backs up our global approach in the executive MBA program. So there's a great international experience you are having during the program. Another ranking worth mentioning is the QS Global Executive MBA ranking, where we currently are number 12 worldwide. and again, a sub-category of the ranking where we are proud to be #1 worldwide when it comes to the diversity aspect of the MBA. So all of these are quite good indicators to funnel down your selection of MBA programs and to look at specific factors which will basically have an importance for your decision. One of the factors, again, in terms of the diversity and the course experience is the faculty. These are next to your fellow students, the most important persons during the executive MBA program. You will learn from them. They will coach you during the modules, just to show a selection of some of the faculty members we work with. Again, a very international touch when it comes to the faculty. WU has the privilege to be nicely connected with other business schools worldwide. Currently, we have a business school network of around 240 business schools on a global scope. And this is where we can draw faculty to our MBA programs, again, adding to the international flavor of the executive MBA program. If you want to have a look at the specific members of faculty of the Global EMBA, feel free to check out our website. You will see a complete list of the faculty members teaching on the executive MBA program. Some facts, hard facts about the MBA. It's a general management program with a very global perspective or global approach on the topics covered. Next start is actually April or end of March 2020. So this year we are currently in the final phase of recruiting. Some free spots might be available. So if you would like to submit a last-minute application, feel free to do so at your earliest convenience. After that, the next intake will be in April next year, so 2021. The program is 16 months long from the kickoff to the graduation. So it's a short and intense journey, but on the other hand side, it's an overseeable project. You have a schedule, which I will show you, which is pretty much carved in stone, so you can pretty much rely on a fixed schedule and thus have a great planning around the MBA. Our home base is here in Vienna. This is where most of the modules will take place. The application deadline usually end of January before the program start. You see the tuition fee, which you can pay in up to 4 installments, so easing your financial burden. And we also offer partial scholarships for candidates. 2 of them are mentioned here. We have our own Executive Academy scholarship, and we have a scholarship aiming at female leaders. Both of them can cover up to 25% of the tuition fee. Yeah, on this slide, you can pretty much see at a glance the facts of the MBA. As I mentioned, it's a true global executive MBA program. And why is that? You see 72% international students from more than 20 countries. In the last intake, I believe it was, if I recall correctly, around 25, 26 countries represented in the program. You get 2 MBA degrees. This program is a double degree MBA program. We have a great partnership with the University of Minnesota, namely the Carson School of Management. You will be registered at both institutions and hence receiving 2 MBA degrees at the end of the program. You have international touch points, which I will show you with the residencies. So 4 of these 16 modules will be taught abroad. And the learning is very much hands-on. So you will have a strong academic background, but you will learn tools and practices which are directly applicable to your daily job. I mentioned the international touch points. So we take our students to so-called international residencies, where students have have classes with local professors at partner universities, but also have the opportunity to visit companies, both local players, but also multinational companies who have entered these markets. So again, having a great transfer from what you learn in the classroom and looking at the real business at the company visits. The first trip takes our students to Latin America, where they visit Argentina and Brazil. The second trip is taking them to Asia, namely to Hong Kong, mainland China, and India. And then the last international residency is in the United States. First stop is New York, and then the final stop will be Minnesota at our partner university. I assume you all are busy managers, so time is very precious. That's why we have designed the program in a way that is doable and feasible for busy professionals. How do we do that? Each module consists of these three phases or periods. So for each topic you will cover during the MBA program, you will usually have a pre-module assignment. That's basically the preparation for the module. Can be readings, some cases to work on, reflections. So ideally, bringing all of the students to possibly the same knowledge level, so that professors don't have to start off from the basics in the classroom and can directly engage with the students. Then you spend your 4 days in class, and after that you have a post-module assignment where you basically integrate what you have learned into your daily practice. We have calculated an average of 15 to 20 hours per week necessary to invest for studying and writing on assignments. Why do we know this figure? We ask our students after each module to give us feedback, and also to give us feedback on how much time they had to invest into their assignments. That's the schedule I mentioned. So this is a schedule for the upcoming class starting end of March later this year. So as I mentioned, this schedule is pretty much carved in stone. That's a schedule you can rely on, and you can plan your MBA journey around these days when you talk to your employer, to your family. So this is the schedule you should consider, and you already see in dark blue the international residency. So this is where the class is traveling. And this schedule pretty much looks very similar each year. You can find the detailed schedule or this file on our website, ready for download as well. I mentioned the peer group. Why is it important to have a great peer group for the learning? Because obviously each of our participants brings a very specific knowledge or expertise to the program, and hence providing to the learning of his or her fellow students. Within the class, consisting of between 40 and 50 students, peer groups are formed which work together during the program on their assignments, a lot of group assignments. And so hence it's vital for the learning to have peers who have a certain experience, especially in leadership, since we look at most of the topics or at the topics from a leadership and strategic perspective. So leadership experience is essential for a great experience during the program. Some figures here, an average of 38 years, and 15 years of working experience and 9 years of leadership experience. So as you can see, these are seasoned and experienced managers bringing a lot of knowledge into the classroom. And obviously, the proportion of international students, again, adding to the international and diverse flavor of the Executive MBA. Okay, some hard facts again. What are we looking at when applying for the MBA program? There are some hard facts like an undergraduate degree, so at least a bachelor's degree. We require a minimum of 5 years of work experience, and as you can see, versus 15 years in average. So the typical student has way more than these 5 years of work experience. We require leadership experience for the application. Why? Because I mentioned that leadership is essential. Experience is essential to the learning during the MBA program, because this is how we look at the topics. Obviously, proficiency in written and spoken English. The whole program is in English. The admission interview and the assessment during the admission interview will be in English as well. And the last step of the application process is the admission interview. Some words about the criteria. The typical MBA or executive MBA student has a solid career progression, has achievements to look back at, and where he or she has had drawn learning which can be brought into the classroom. Management and leadership skills, I mentioned that. Of course, the ability and the commitment to engage into a very challenging program, which is short but very intense. A lot of communication, social skills will be required during the program. Why? Because again, you will have a very diverse student group, people from other countries, from other cultures. During your global team project, which is a final project at the MBA, where we bring together our executive MBA students with students from the States and from China, there you will face these different cultures, and you will obviously have to deal with that. What we do not require are GMAT test scores or TOEFL test. Just a word about the TOEFL test or English tests, since the application interview and the assessment will be in English. This gives us a good opportunity to check for proficiency. Obviously, if you invest into an executive MBA, you invest time and money and energy. You would like to have a certain return, and obviously to benefit from your experience. Let me back this up with some numbers drawn from both from the Financial Times ranking and from our own alumni surveys. What we see is that some 80% of our students make a career move either within the program or 1 year after the program. So there's a lot of movement going on. The horizon is opening up. And what we see is that from these 80%, roughly half of them take over new or additional leadership duties. A little bit more than a third of those 80% advance to new positions within 1 to 4 years. You obviously would also like to have a return when it comes to the financial perspective. And again, here, a great indicator is the Financial Times ranking, where we see that we see a plus of 47% increase after the MBA, after 3 years after the MBA program. So there is a very strong return, backup with numbers. Next to that, there is a more soft return of your investment. That's your self-fulfillment. That's your personal development. That's the confidence you will gain while doing the MBA. You will be exposed to a very diverse and professional group of people, experienced people. So this gives you more confidence, new skills. Maybe you will start questioning things you have done in the past, and will initiate change. So the personal development is a very strong factor when it comes to the return and the satisfaction after the MBA program. And I'm happy to back this up with some statements from our students. Pavel, who has done the MBA a couple of years ago, great student. He's general manager at BMW in the Czech Republic, the largest seller of BMW. And I remember talking to him, and I remember him telling me that usually his team was a little bit afraid of him coming back after the modules, because he usually came back to work with a small list of a couple of bullet points of things he was already thinking about during the module, things he wanted to change, or new processes he wanted to implement. So what he used to do after each module is gather his team and distribute tasks and new projects. So he told me that he really applied very quickly what he had learned in the classroom, and he still consults his material, MBA material, but also his peers. So that, again, the network you build, this is a network which will stay for your lifetime in general. Another statement when it comes to the return. Rita did the executive MBA. Why? Because she has a legal background. And she said that she would never have been considered for senior management positions with her legal background. And that's why she did the executive MBA, to foster her management skills, and hence being able to be considered for high or senior management duties. So a great way to maybe change the career is such a program. Next to the MBA, we provide a platform for development, and we call that the Career Accelerator program. That's development, obviously, in your career, and we base this on 3 pillars. The know why, so why do you do certain things? The know how, so skills, knowledge, the content you get during the MBA, and the know who, which is essentially the network you touch during the MBA. All these pillars have certain services we offer, and this is where students choose which service they would like to use in order to advance in their career and to answer certain questions during the program which come up. So this is basically what we do around the classroom in terms of services when it comes to your career development. So just to sum this up, you will get a highly recognized degree with the Global Executive MBA program from 2 highly recognized universities. You will foster your leadership skills. You will look at topics, strategic, accounting, finance, marketing, from a leadership and strategic perspective. We have designed a program which is doable next to your private and professional life. It's obviously a challenge and it's a time investment, but it's doable. There are known survivors, so I can say that. You will have access to an international network, both from our university, but also from the University of Minnesota, and you will have very hands-on and practical content during the program. Thank you very much so far for bearing with me. I hope all of this is helpful for you, and let me just look at the questions which came in while I was speaking. First question: what are the criteria for the scholarships? Good question. With the scholarships, we look at 2 things. We look at the performance of the candidate during the application process, specifically during the admission interview. And we also look at the necessity, or how much do you need the scholarship. With these scholarships, we usually like to support candidates who, without a scholarship or without a support, would not be able to do the executive MBA program. So we will look at your salary. We will ask you to demonstrate or to elaborate on your financial situation. So some documents will be required. You can find a list, detailed list on the website as usual. But these are the two factors we look at. And of course, we then compare your performance and your necessity with the other candidates. And this is how the jury makes a decision. As I mentioned, the scholarships are up to 25%. So 25% of the tuition fee is the maximum you can get out of the scholarships. For those of you based in Austria doing the MBA, applying for the Global Executive MBA, Austrians have a great tax advantage when paying, if they're paying their taxes here in Austria. So not only Austrian citizens, but everyone who works in Austria and pays taxes to the Austrian state can save up to 50% of the, or can get back up to 50% of the tuition fee from tax after the tax declaration. So that's a great advantage for Austrian taxpayers. Next question. When does the next program start and when do you have to turn in the application at latest? So as I mentioned, the next program start very short term is the 2020 class starting on March 31st. If you would like to join this program, so right now we are in the phase of having the last admission interviews, classes filling up. There might be some seats left for the program. So if you would like to join this class, apply as soon as possible or get in touch with us so that we can make this work. If not, if the next intake is more realistic for you, then you still have some time. The application deadline, official application deadline, as I mentioned, is January 31st each year before the start of the program. Next question. Do we have to organize the field trips on our own or is it organized by you? Great question. Let me answer it from another perspective, coming from the tuition fee. The tuition fee, 49,000 euro, covers everything you need for studying and for passing the program, which means all the fees at the university, all the reading material, both online or books, will be provided by the university. The whole planning of the program, including the field trips or the international residencies, is done by us. So we do all the planning. What we don't cover is the travel costs. So you will have to to pay for your flights and for the hotel rooms. Talking about hotel rooms, here in Vienna, we do not have housing on campus. However, we have quite a few hotels around our campus where we have cooperations and we get better rates for our students. During the field trips, we usually book hotel rooms, or we reserve hotel rooms at the destinations, and we recommend these to our students, and we encourage everyone to stay in the same hotel, which is usually done because people want to be together during the field trip. Next question. What is the estimated cost to cover necessary travels for the international classes? This depends a little bit where you're based. So if you're based in Vienna, you will not have any costs for commuting to the modules here in Vienna. So you will have costs only for the international field trips. In general, we advise to add some between 6,000 and 10,000 euros to the tuition fee for travel costs. Again, this depends on where you come from, how long your flight will be, and on your flight preferences and hotel preferences. So this is a range I can give you. These figures are based on the experience with previous classes and talks we've had with students. Is it possible to do the admission interview online, for example, or over Skype? In general, we prefer to meet you in person. So it would be great to have you here on site at the campus for the admission interview. if it really doesn't work and you would have to engage in a very long trip to come to Vienna, then we can do a Skype interview on individual basis. So this is being then checked or agreed on during the admission interview. In general, we prefer to have you here and to meet you in person for the admission interview. Next question from Andrea. Can you connect to former student? Yes, of course, and we'd be happy to do that, because obviously I can give you a lot of nice stories from my perspective about the program. I have to admit I'm slightly biased. So it's great to back this up and to challenge what I tell you here when talking to former or current students. So I personally strongly encourage everyone who is considering an executive MBA program at our business school to talk to some of the students, to get the students' perspective, to ask them questions about their experience. What were the challenges? What did they like most? What did they like less? What did they not like about the program? And this usually is a great tool to make a decision and to come to a great decision and the right decision when choosing the MBA program, because obviously we are looking for great candidates for our executive MBA, but also you as prospect students, you are looking for the best fit in terms of the business school. So one way to get to know more about the program is talking to our staff, to me or the program management, but also to talk to former or current students. So that's a great idea, and I strongly support that. Next to that, you're most welcome to visit us here on campus to get a feeling on the premises, on the campus, and just to check whether this is a place you feel comfortable and you would like to study here. So feel free to approach us, come and visit us, talk to us. You can also visit an event. Selected events are on the website. Feel free to register and to visit us. Okay, any more questions? We still have a couple of minutes, so I'm happy to answer more questions. Of course, please feel free to drop me an email. You can see my email address here on the slide for a one-to-one consultation. I have already consultations scheduled with some of you. So happy to follow up on that and to have a more extensive consultation either here face-to-face on campus or on the telephone. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you anytime. Still waiting for any more questions. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about that. While you think about possible questions, just some more information about what's happening after this session today. We will send you an email shortly after this session with the presentation and also with a recording. So this will take maybe a couple of days, but you will get both the presentation and the recording of the session, so you will be able to have a look at that later on as well. Again, you can get all the information I gave you today also during a one-to-one consultation meeting with me or with my colleagues from the program management. Keep the questions coming. Still here for a couple of minutes. Can we get a bit more info about career service? Sure. Usually, as I mentioned, that people start looking around when they get into the MBA program. What I can hear very often is that, quite often, is that students say, "Well, I'm not necessarily looking for a new job or a new company. I feel quite comfortable." And then a couple of weeks or months into the program, they start looking around because they get inspired also by their peers. So we support that with a couple of services. Just a couple of examples, and feel free to check them also out on the website for more details. We have an internal platform. We call it the UEA Connect. So the Connect platform is basically our own LinkedIn, if you will, where people can exchange. So all the students and alumni are part of this network. So if you are a student of the MBA, you don't need to wait until you get the MBA at the end of the program to access the services, but you can make use of all the services already from day one of the MBA, which is a great advantage, I think. So this platform can be used for looking for students and alumni in certain markets, if you need support in certain markets or functions. We have cooperations with, and I have a slide in my appendix, with HR partners and executive search companies. And so this is how the platform looks like, and the Connect platform. And we work with, among a lot of partners, just this is a selection of HR partners we work with, and those people have access to the platform. And what they do is they either recruit directly, they approach our students or alumni directly via the platform, or they post job ads in the platform, which can stay exclusive for our platform for a couple of weeks, and then they go public. So that's one way. We do connecting sessions here on the campus with our HR partners. We do CV checks. We have career events in terms of insights on how to develop your career. Usually these are evening events where we invite our students and alumni. So just to name two of the services offered for the career for your career development, and I'm of course happy to share this information in an email. I hope I get you right to send you this in an email. Happy to do that, Adrian. So we have a close cooperation with HR partners, and they either recruit directly, or of course you as a student or alum, you are most welcome to approach them through our alumni or community engagement managers. They're here to be the interface between our student and alumni community and the HR partners. Okay, Adrian, happy to share this by email, and of course we can have a chat in the days to follow, and I'm happy to elaborate on this issue. Good. Any more questions? Final round. Okay. You have some for later? Okay, Adrian, happy to connect with you. I'll drop you an email later today with the information you're looking for, and I'd be happy to arrange a call or a meeting next week. I'll be out of office recruiting students in Moscow over the weekend, and I'll be back next week, and I'm happy to have a call with you. With that, I would like to thank you for joining today. Thanks for spending your lunch break with me. Shouts to my IT colleagues in backstage for the support I got, and hope to be in touch with you very soon. And thanks again for choosing us. All the best. Bye-bye.